Hey, welcome to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM 89.0, ArrowFM, The Wire Rapper, and Manawatu People's Radio. As always, I'm Grady, and live on Skype we got Josh.
Hey.
I hope that intro doesn't get any longer, honestly. I have to, at least for the next few weeks, I'm going to have to go find it and read it out, or else I will forget everything. I'll ramble a little bit more, except for the fact that it was quite a jam-packed Raw and Smackdown this week. So I'm going to open up the floor. Where do you want to start today, Josh?
Well, let's go with the biggest thing of all. The big dog.
I was speechless. I honestly thought you guys were joking with me, because I think the group chat was the first time I'd seen it. I hadn't seen any of the headlines or anything. I thought I was being goofed. I didn't believe it.
Yeah, I'm very, very glad that we were on the other side now. Roman is in remission.
Mm-hmm.
And he's fine. And he's back to competing and doing what he loves.
Yeah.
Like him, hate him, like his character, hate his character, it doesn't matter anymore.
He seemed to be getting pretty favorable crowd reactions, as one would kind of expect.
Yeah, and that brought a smile to my face. It was never Joe Anoa'i that was the person that was getting the crowd's vitriol.
Mm-hmm.
It was the character.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that this is a chance for the character not necessarily to start afresh, but to at least come into it with a different swing. In the short term, though, it does seem as though Reigns and Rollins and Ambrose may be pairing back up, but with Ambrose still heading off in the horizon and Seth Rollins looking to Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, I don't know how long this will last us.
It'll at least go to Fastlane, and then my guess is probably Roman will probably have his first singles match at WrestleMania against Drew McIntyre.
Okay. No, don't do that, because then Drew has to lose. I thought you were promising me a Drew win, and now you've got me Drew losing. This isn't fair.
Yeah, but he gets a big match.
Big match, big loss.
Much bigger match than he would have gotten otherwise.
You're making a real good defense here.
And the other option might be just to drop him in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
Does he win it?
I don't know.
Okay. I'll weigh up losing to Roman versus winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which kind of has done absolutely nothing for anybody who's won it. Let me weigh that up for a little bit. But while I'm weighing that up, the women's division itself was also on Raw, not without a little bit of action.
Wee-oo, wee-oo, wee-oo.
For once, that's not an ambulance.
Nope. It's a police siren. Because Becky Lynch violated her suspension, got arrested.
It'll be interesting to see what happens going forward now. Because how long was her suspension?
60 days, which was exactly 4 days after WrestleMania.
Yeah. Let's see how that goes, huh?
We all know where the end game of this is. It's a triple threat match.
No, Endgame's a movie coming out in April. It's part of the Avengers. This is WWE. I'm sorry. Those are usually your... No. I'ma just try to remember to edit that part out. But yeah, I'm with you on the triple threat. It's just a matter of how do we get there and where exactly all the pieces lie. I'm still leaning towards my Fastlane match to earn the spot back, but being suspended doesn't necessarily put a spanner in the works, but complicates the storytelling process.
Yeah, but Becky's not the only person that would have a bone to pick with Vince McMahon right now.
We're jumping all over the place, are we?
Might as well.
Hop on the choo-choo train, we're going to Smackdown. Woo, woo. Sure, why not? Mr. McMahon ain't happy with Kofi. He'd rather Kevin Owens.
He's not box office enough. Damn it.
You just had to add damn it, didn't you?
Because that was Vince McMahon.
I love that it's Kofi isn't big enough. Whatever. Let's replace him with the man who's been eating pizza in his vignettes and trying to be an everyman leading up to this. He's the one that's going to drive sales.
Yeah. But you know what this means?
Triple threat?
No. It's better.
Singles match at WrestleMania?
Bingo.
We can't have, 60 triple threats at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So, I'm with you on the singles.
And Kofi Mania takes place at WrestleMania with Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston. Whether he wins the title or not, I don't know. But we'll at least get that match at the show of shows.
Mm-hmm.
Because the entire rumors were always about, well, it's going to be Kevin Owens versus Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Well, now it's at Fastlane. which means they're clearly listening.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see going forward, because it's hard to not draw parallels with Vince McMahon messing with the WWE Championship title picture heading into WrestleMania, and Daniel Bryan being involved in this storyline. Obviously, on the other side of the coin this time, but
in the contract signing, it was very, very funny to watch Stephanie have all these grand things about to say about Kofi. And every time that she would say Daniel Bryan's name, was like in the last few weeks when he's been beaten by Kofi,
mm-hmm.
You could just tell there's still an issue with her and Daniel Bryan, even though Daniel Bryan's now a villain.
Yeah, it's just, dynamics change and everything, but I'm with you. The slight callbacks are quite interesting like that. And with this Vince meddling that's happening, there's conspiracy theories on where this is going to lead, but I don't know if you buy into any of these sort of things.
Well, my first thought was, this is the second time in less than a month that he's just blindsided his children, and supposedly the people that are supposed to be helping him to make the show better for the fans, with a decision that the fans don't want. And to me, that says that they're playing into the whole he's senile and doesn't know what fans want anymore thing. Mm-hmm. Which leads me to believe that we're probably in a few months going to be getting a power struggle storyline.
As always.
Which will then end up with Vince losing complete control. At least in storyline.
Is it really the WWE if we go 6 months without a power struggle involving the McMahons?
Well, we did go 2 years into the latest brand extension without a power struggle.
True. Yeah, I'm with you. It seems as though we're just playing off a couple of real life events, and being able to play into this conspiracy theory a little bit. NXT rising up and everybody praising that, and then Triple H can come along and on their side of the power struggle and basically say oh, we know the fans, we have the best brand around and all this. And then on the Vince side of the coin, the whole taking a step away from WWE to look towards his XFL coming up, this is potentially a way to get to that path, both in storyline and on screen. So I see it as where we're headed, but for now it seems like total and utter conspiracy theory nonsense until we figure it out going forward. We're hopping back on the choo-choo train. You derailed us to SmackDown for a little bit. I'm gonna pull us back on the tracks to Raw. And I am going to mention here that Nia Jax and Tamina will be the ones facing Bayley and Sasha Banks for the Women's Tag Championships at Fastlane.
Yeah, it's a logical first defense. So, nothing earth-shattering.
No.
So,
basically, if you're a betting person, this is probably where you would have put your money. But then, straight after that, Ric Flair, he got to celebrate his birthday. He came out, he strutted, he did everything that everybody loves. He wooed his little butt off. And he blew out his birthday candles, ate a bit of cake, and everybody was happy and merry.
Except the people that wanted to be proven right by WWE being so predictable that it would be Becky Lynch that would ruin the party. But no, it was Batista.
He beat down that 70-year-old man, and he showed his absolute physical dominance by throwing him all around the room and then dragging him out by his coat.
Do I have your attention now?
It's, to me, the most surprising part about this is that Triple H is ready to go. I thought he might have needed a little bit more time to rest up, might not have been ready to go. That being said, this is also the man who has wrestled through many injuries. So it's hard to pick on whether he's just going to wrestle through it or whether he's actually good to go. But I know Batista Triple H is something that's always been talked about because it's something that Batista wants. And then we dropped the hints a little bit during, I think it was SmackDown's anniversary show. And now we're getting it.
It's not that far-fetched. I mean, a lot of times it is 6 to 9 months for a torn pectoral to be healed. Mm-hmm. So it's not that far-fetched. Especially when you consider John Cena did it in 3.
Yeah, but John Cena's John Cena, okay?
Yeah, he's superhuman. Well, I would say Triple H is just as much as a superhuman. Especially considering the fact he's torn not 1, but 2 quads and finished matches with them torn.
They share the same genetic material. Yes, let's go with genetics. But yeah, coming back from injury, there's always the people who are going to be able to blitz through it. But whether he's good to go or not, I don't care. We're getting Batista. And that's the important part to me of all of this. And heel Batista. Not just any Batista. The best Batista. Do we just want me to ramble about Batista for the next 15 minutes?
No. Although, his return is getting massive amount of views on YouTube.
Well,
I think the last I heard it was 4.5 million.
If I'm going to do some quick math, right? And I'm going to look at Avengers Endgame comes out on the 26th of April. And WrestleMania is on the 7th of April. Seems like quite good timing if you think about it.
Yeah, it certainly does. I have a feeling that if Black Lightning was coming out around that same time, we'd probably see The Rock in WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's always convenient when movie stuff lines up nicely. But in this case, Avengers 4 is going to presumably be one of the biggest blockbuster movies. And 3 weeks after WrestleMania, so you'll be doing the media tours and you'll be talking about the WrestleMania match you just had and everything. So it'll line up pretty darn neatly for everybody involved. And Batista gets his happy match that he's wanted, finishes it off, and ends on a high note rather than his last note. Alright, it is probably time to play our theme this week. You picked Velveteen Dream because it's no longer a spoiler, right?
Right. We finally found out which ending they actually used.
They went with the one where Velveteen Dream holds the belt above his head, and everybody cheers. Velveteen Dream. And you're back with Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and NPR. Grady and Josh, we're jumping on the Smackdown side of things for realsies this time. We kind of already talked about it, but we did sort of skim over the Kevin Owens factor, making his return from injury here. Been due back for a little while.
Yeah, he's been due back. He's been having those vignettes for a while. I'm not sure if they've decided that they want to scrap the every man's man thing, or if they're going with it, but going with a different angle on it, or if just Kofi has just completely blown their plans up so much that they don't even know what to do anymore. And they're just force-feeding things.
Well, if we look back, Kofi himself was a replacement when Mustafa Ali got injured. It's not like it was something that was always in the plans or anything like that.
No, I'm guessing that probably had Mustafa Ali not gotten injured, he probably would have done the hour that Kofi did.
Mm-hmm.
Which then turns around and makes Kofi's hour even more impressive, because he probably only had about a week to plan it.
Yeah. It's crazy. This feels like Kofi at the moment is the definition of grabbing that brass ring. You know, he got a little bit of an opportunity, replace an injured Mustafa Ali, and then it's boom, the gauntlet match, boom, the chamber, boom, moving into Daniel Bryan feud. He's just been nailing it, hitting it out of the park. The New Day together are doing amazing. Everyone on Twitter's behind it. The crowd's behind it. It's perfect.
There's some people that don't want it to happen at WrestleMania. They want to make it to where instead he has to wait until like June to win the Money in the Bank ladder match.
That's a lot of
cash in at SummerSlam.
It's a lot of time to wait.
Yeah, I'd rather have the payoff of the first fully black WWE champion at WrestleMania.
I think it's a case of strike while the iron is hot.
Yeah.
And don't wait on it. Like we talked about Daniel Bryan, The Miz, lasting until WrestleMania, and then it just totally and absolutely fizzled out. If you've got this pre-made super hot feud to go with, just do it.
Yes, who knows? By the time we get to SummerSlam, if we were waiting, people may not care anymore.
Or all three of the New Day have individually torn pectoral muscles. Or any other muscle in their body. So many things can happen between now and then. I'd just much rather it happen now, rather than trying to hang around and wait.
Yeah, the thing that concerns me is that if you wait, the odds are fans are going to give up, because they're just going to see that, well, what I want doesn't matter.
Yeah. We'll see. But what people wanted, I don't know, this is a bad segue. Matt Hardy returns.
Yeah, from what I understand, WWE's tacked on an extra year onto the contracts of the Hardys because of their injuries. So instead of expiring in 10 days, like people were saying, we have the Hardys for another year. And then we got the Hardys on Raw. Instead of getting Cesaro versus Gargano, we got the Bar versus the Hardys.
It's one of those happy, sad moments where that match would have been really good. But I'm happy with what we got instead. But I do miss the Cesaro Gargano that what could have been.
I have to wonder if maybe we're not seeing like the beginning of the downfall of the Bar and the split. There's not any signs to it. It's just now they're just constantly losing. They lost to Ricochet and Aleister Black last week.
Mm-hmm.
They lost their tag team titles at Royal Rumble to a hodgepodge team of Miz and Shane McMahon.
Yeah.
And now they lost to the Hardy Boys.
I could see it.
That's a lot of losing starting to build up.
Yeah. For a team that was put together because of a best-of-7 series or whatever it was, they've stuck around a lot longer than anybody had expected. But
sometimes things just work.
Yeah. But looking at the Hardy Boys, I feel like bringing them back together is, excuse my phrasing, best for business. It seemed as though Jeff was sort of floundering these past few months, and God knows what Matt would have done solo going forward either. So it feels like the right way to go to put them back together.
It certainly does.
And then we moved down a little bit, and R-Truth, he wanted to make sure he showed up in February for the first time, and show off his pretty belt.
Yeah, he hasn't been used on television, but I've really enjoyed the stuff he's been doing online.
Mm-hmm.
I think my favorite thing was probably the video he posted where he was like a statue and got picked up by somebody who's wanting an action figure.
Yeah, he's been doing pretty darn well off of TV. But yeah. It was his first time, I believe, throughout the month of February being on SmackDown.
Yeah, it was fun. I'm glad that he still retained the title, and he did it with a roll-up.
Oh. But obviously, R-Truth, US champ, cool. The story coming out of this one is the Andrade Rey Mysterio not finished story. And the singles matches potential for WrestleMania begin to stack up.
Who knows? After that, we may see that the rumored Latino stable, masked wrestler stable form.
Okay. I thought we already had the Lucha House Party. Dudums.
Yeah, we have that tag team. But actually, there's a rumor of Rey Mysterio, Andrade, and Sin Cara forming a stable.
Okay.
On SmackDown.
Okay. So, where's Sin Cara been recently? Have I just missed him?
I don't know.
We'll have to go find him in catering somewhere and bring him on out for that.
Yeah, just avoid his right hook.
Or a soda can. Was it him that threw the soda can?
Yeah, that was part of it too.
Ignoring that, Andrade and Mysterio, they're on a collision course. Are we going to see it at Fastlane? Or are we going to see it at WrestleMania? Where are we going to see it?
Probably WrestleMania. Maybe Fastlane. More than likely there.
Okay.
Unless they just want to do it at Fastlane and then throw them both in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
Yeah. If we brought out all of the rumored and potential matches for WrestleMania, I feel like that card is already beginning to stack up. Not going to be a whole
all the time in the world, that's for sure.
Oh, don't say that. They're going to pick for a goddamn 12-hour WrestleMania. Don't say it.
Kayfabe news. WrestleMania now a 3-day event.
If you count all of the other wrestling events, it pretty much is. I'm gonna just run away from this subject. I will talk for hours about the length of WrestleMania. But instead, I would like to point out that Aleister Black and Ricochet picked up yet another win.
And I'm hoping that something that happened during the announcements becomes a thing. Because it's the way Greg Hamilton, I think that's the guy that does the SmackDown announcing, announced Aleister Black. It almost sounded like somebody scared him in the middle of his announcement. Because it was like, Aleister Black. So I'm hoping that becomes the new rated R star.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see. I noticed that in the chat, it was like something you made sure to point out. You're like, please note how Aleister Black's name was introduced. It is important. And, yeah, Aleister Black, obviously, Gargano and Tomato not here, for whatever reasons, but Ricochet and Aleister Black been racking up the wins, because they also got one on the Revival on Raw as well, so win after win.
I'm really, really hoping that Ricochet ends up on Raw.
Okay.
And not, because there's a I'm very, very seriously considering going to the Raw in Cincinnati in May.
Okay.
It'll be actual the television taping.
Mm-hmm.
But if Ricochet's not there, then obviously I can't see him.
Yep. So it's purely greedy reasons. Fair enough. Alright, well, on that note, that's all we got time for this week. It's been great talking to you.
Peace out.
You can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/WrestlingRadio, Twitter page, twitter.com/WrestlingRadio, and we'll see you all next week.